Chief Deputy, for coming in through. Marie Franklin wanted me to let you guys know that she's going to be on WMOX tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So make sure you listen. That's WMOX at 9 a.m. Marie Franklin is running against, I wrote it down. Marie, you better put it on the chat or something. Y'all know if you, hey, Roscoe Jones is my guest. It's, hey, Marie, hey, she's been working really hard. I know that. She's really been out there, her and Craig Houston, and I know Tarquez is out there. I don't know what Wayne Davis is doing, but I'm sure that he's doing the same thing. We need to do a democratic way. My guest today is Roscoe Jones. Roscoe, thank you for coming.
My pleasure, Eddie. Thank you.
Roscoe, I was at downtown and I took pictures. My boys was climbing all on top of this thing by the old Marsh Rothenberg. I guess that's the Riley MSU Center. And it was talking about, it had a historical sign up thanking the Jews for their contribution to the civil rights movement in Lauderdale County, Meridian, Mississippi. So I called Roscoe Jones out because I wanted to know. Now, I grew up in that time. I don't remember a Jew doing anything other than those two that came from out of town. And we were told, hey, you know, Miss Nancella, your cousin said, hey, when you go to the store, you them civil rights workers on there, you get on the other side of the street and walk on past. But we still spoke. We still had to speak. You care to elaborate on that, Roscoe?
Yes, I do. Eddie, remember the gentleman, the store that was right next to Miss Nancella's house?
Steen's Grocery.
Yeah, Miss Steen. He was Jewish.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was Jewish. Eddie, in answer to your question, the Jewish community, when Mickey and Rita came to Meridian.
First, Roscoe,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Please tell the people who you are and what you did.
Okay, See, I'm sorry.
Now, everybody don't know Roscoe Jones. This here going worldwide, all the way over Germany and China.
All right. Okay, I'm Roscoe Jones. I was born and raised in Meridian, Mississippi. Eddie and I grew up in the same neighborhood. Some of the same people that could whoop him could whoop me. And you didn't say certain things because you were raised by the community. You wasn't, you know, my grandmother raised me and my uncles and aunts and my brother, but I was raised by the community. So was Eddie. He was raised by the community. My grandmother could say things to him, and he better not say a word back, okay?
That's right.
She could whoop his little rear end just like she could whoop mine, and nothing was ever said, you know, and you better not go back and let the parents know you got a whooping by those people because they were going to kill you because you embarrassed the family. But I was raised in Meridian. I attended schools here in Meridian. I got involved in the civil rights movement at an early age. I joined the NAACP at the age of 14 under, I'm sorry, I'm having a senior moment.
The Reverend had to leave and move away from here?
No, I joined under Mr. Darden. Mr. Darden was the president at the time. Charles Evers was the president of the state, and he came to Meridian to reorganize the Meridian chapter of the NAACP Youth Council. And one of the things that Mr. Evers believed in, he believed in getting the young people involved. And so what he did was he came to Meridian because he was from over in Newton area. And he came to Meridian because he knew Mr. Darden very well. And he got us involved and we reorganized. At one time, Meridian was the key to young people being involved. Whichever way Meridian went with the young people was pretty much the way the state went with young people. We were pretty much the leaders. So I joined. Sue Brown was our president at the time that I joined. Mickey Swanner and his wife Rita came to Meridian in 1964, in January of 1964. This is getting to the Jewish involvement here now. When they came to Meridian, Mickey Swanner wanted to meet with the Jewish community because he knew that the Jewish community controlled Meridian. The Jewish money controlled the city of Meridian, okay? And a lot of people don't know that. One of the reasons why we had a real good education system, although it was separate, was that the fact that the Jewish people were primarily on the Board of Education, okay? So with that being the factors, Meridian High School and T.J. Harris High School, the black and the white high schools, were pretty much the best two high schools in the state of Mississippi, bar none. Okay, you know, we can go, Eddie, and look at the rosters of people from Meridian, and we have gone to some of the most prestigious colleges in America, black and whites from the city of Meridian. That's because the Jewish community believes strongly in education. And Mrs. Rosenbaum, who was Jewish, and her husband later became the first Jewish mayor, was very active in the Board of Education and in terms of what went on with the school system. You know, although we had hand-me-down books and some other things, but we also had people who were concerned that we got educated, and they employed people like Mr. Reed and others. You know, at times when I was growing up, I didn't like him, but I grew to appreciate what he did. That came in here and got some of the best teachers that we could get. They went all over the state and got the best teachers for this black high school, just like Mr. Armstrong and others from Meridian High School went out and got the best teachers they had. During our dual system, we had Mr. Reed was really the superintendent of the black schools because he did the hiring. Although he had to go to the school board and go to the superintendent, Dr. Todd, but Dr. Todd allowed him to pretty much hire who he wanted to hire. So when Mickey and Rita came to Meridian, they went to the Jewish community. And I happened to have an opportunity to go with Mickey to one of the meetings. And Mickey just informed them of what they had gone through and what he had been taught as a young Jewish boy in New York, that Jews stuck together and to never forget the Holocaust. And they did not want him here. Okay? They did not want him here. But due to the fact of what had happened during the Holocaust and everything else, and what was going on in the civil rights movement, the Jewish community agreed to work with Mickey and Rita, and they told Mickey this, that as long as he was in the Lauderdale County area, that they could provide they could assure him of his safety. Outside of that area, they could not. That's why they were killed outside of Lauderdale County. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So the contribution, you're talking about our education, but when in 69, 70, when they forced us to go to schools through busing, they changed the grading system. If you came from those black schools and went to the now white schools, the grading system was changed for everybody. It was, whereas a C became an F, if I'm not mistaken. I think they finally just getting back to a 10-point grading scale just recently. But if you had, I think if I'm mistaken, if you had 63, that was an F. If you had like, I mean, anyway, whatever it is, I don't know it, but I have it for you. I have those statistics for you. So if the Jewish community was all about education, that show had some kind of racism, because that really hurt us. Because when we went to those schools, say I was at Magnolia, I was at Cape Griffin, and I went to, what's that, Northwest?
Yeah, Northwest.
When I went to Northwest, with those white teachers being out there, because they didn't take all those black teachers, those white teachers out there, they continued to pass their white students. They kept their A's, but the black students that came from those black schools, their C's went to F's. And that caused a lot of us to be kicked out of school, and it has hurt us there. So the Jews ain't done all that. I don't see nothing they done because they protecting me. They really done protecting because they done told him to keep his ass in Meridian. Well, I'm sorry.
Let me say this, Eddie. One of the things that we're dealing with right now is that you know that Meridian Public School is still under the DSEG order that they came under in 1965 when it was called freedom of choice. In 1965, those young ladies that went to Meridian High School, those of us who went to the junior college, so 7 of us that went to the junior college, the rest of the young people who went to Chalk and all the other white schools, well, the 1st and 6th grade, 9th and 12th grade in the public schools. And junior college was open to any, okay? Those of us who went there, we went under freedom of choice. That was the first thing that came down, freedom of choice. Then in 1967, if I'm not mistaken, they came back, they went to court, and they came back and they said that we will mandate. They wanted to speed it up. And in 1971, they speeded up and integrated all of the schools. Okay?
In 69 and 70.
Well, 69, yeah. In 71, it became finalized,
Yeah.
okay? But 69 and 70, they did go back to court again. But we're still under that DSEG order. Now, the thing is that people don't look at it, and I ask people to read. During that, if you read the DSEG order, we got shambled. We got bamboozled. Because it was predicated on the demographics of black and whites in the school system. Okay? We wasn't supposed to lose all our black teachers. They did not adhere to the guidelines. And that's one of the reasons why we're having a problem with it now. See, a lot of people are saying, well, we're still under that same old system. Yeah, because the pipeline is a product of that system. When you take out all of your black teachers, which was not what was supposed to happen, your facilities and everything else everything was spelled out in the court order. But they did not comply with the court order. That's why we're still under that court order today.
And you know what, Roscoe, that's one of the problems that we have in our community, is that we keep accepting things and we won't even hold their feet to the fire. We won't, it's as long as it's happening to our children, it seems to be okay, but it's not okay for me.
Well, Eddie, one thing I want to say, and that's this. I concur with that. I'm still a plaintiff in that original lawsuit. There were probably about 20 or 30 of us that were plaintiffs in that lawsuit.
Weren't you the president of the youth branch of the NAACP?
Yeah, one time I was. Yeah.
He was the president at what? I was 17, 18 years old?
I was a state president also. Yeah,
and
we had a
then
state
went on
organization.
Become one of the first black lieutenants in the Marine Corps?
From Meridian.
From Meridian?
Yeah.
The first or one of the first?
The first.
From
the
Meridian?
First. Yeah, the first from Meridian.
I mean, he was like our hero.
Yeah. Look, it's
I don't understand why they don't have a star on that. They need to have a star on Roscoe Jones out there. I mean, really, because he knew Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Toure.
Yeah,
he actually knew him.
Well, we actually Stokely came to Meridian.
Yep.
And we were afraid of Stokely. Okay.
Why?
We really was. Black Power, man. We were.
Oh yeah,
we were afraid of that, man. That was a no. So we told him to go ahead on with Snick out in the Delta, and that's where he went. He went to Greenwood. Okay, he went on to Greenwood. He came through Meridian, but we said no.
Wasn't he the president at one time over?
Snick?
Yeah.
Not national. You had John Lewis was the first president.
What about locally?
Locally here.
Yes.
No, Stokely never was anything here. Stokely came through Meridian and kept on going. Now, what he did out in Greenwood, I don't know. I wasn't out there, but he was very active out in Greenwood areas. See, that was Snick territory.
So I gotta ask, did the Jewish people need a sign down there? I don't know of anything. You see, you know all that. You have to be Roscoe Jones to know all this stuff that they did behind the scenes. We still had separate lunch counters.
Right.
We still had separate everything, and it was inferior. And I promise you, I became an avid reader when I was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
At Magnolia.
And you should be an avid reader now. Go right ahead.
Yeah, and I still am. And guess what? Those same books that I read are still at Parkville, and that's a shame. The same books. The same exact books that I signed out to read, folks, are still in our school system. And
in the library?
In the library, that's a shame.
Well, and you know what? And I'm going to say this. I was never for integration. Okay? And I want to say that publicly. I was for equality. See, we were sold a bill of goods on integration. We were not marching for integration. The civil rights movement was not about integration. It was about equality. See, Eddie, if I'm equal to you, integration, I don't need it.
That's right.
Okay? It's a byproduct.
That's right.
We settle for a byproduct, and we got to be careful. We are bad about settling for byproducts. You know, so when people tell me thank you for integrating, no, that wasn't what I was about. I'm about equality, and we don't have that even today. Okay, we don't have that. You know, I want to be equal to you. Then we don't have to worry about affirmative action. We don't have to worry about job discrimination and all of that, housing and all of that, because see, we have racial patterns right now because of so-called integration.
That's right.
You know, when you integrate, that means you go into somebody else's territory and you become like them.
It ain't what we need.
Okay? No. So why can't you come to my territory and understand how I am? But we always have to go in and understand the way they are. Now, Eddie, one thing I do want to say, and that's this. We got to be very careful. We are going through the second Reconstruction era. Do you know that in 1865, we found out that we were free? We were free really in 1863, but we didn't find out until 1865 that we were free. That's why we have Juneteenth. See, a lot of people don't understand that. See, my grandmama used to tell me all the time, when I used to tell her I want to celebrate the 4th of July, she said, no, we don't celebrate that day. We celebrate Juneteenth. I said, my grandma, what are you talking about, Juneteenth? She said, that's the day we found out we were free. Okay?
The people in Texas.
Right. Well, no, what happened was the ship came into Texas. Okay? And the captain of the ship got on his horse and rode out to the plantations and addressed the blacks at the plantation and told them that you are now free. Okay? Because that area of the country was occupied by Confederate soldiers. But once they landed in Galveston and got off that ship and had taken over that territory, they began to spread the word to black folks throughout. You free. You've been free since 1863.
Roscoe, you need to come back Thursday. Can you come back Thursday? Roscoe, you need to come back Thursday or next Tuesday. But that matter. We need to continue this conversation, but we're running out of time.
Okay.
But Roscoe, we need, people, I be talking about me running for mayor. Roscoe needs to be mayor of Meridian. He ran before. Roscoe, you only ran one time. Percy Bland ran twice and got a second time. Maybe you need to run again.
I didn't run for mayor. I never ran for mayor.
You never ran for mayor?
No.
What
I
you
ran for 82. 83, rather. 83.
I thought you ran for mayor.
Position.
Well, maybe you need to run for mayor.
Oh, well.
You never ran
I'm not a politician, okay?
But you bring so much knowledge and history. Well, if not mayor, you need to be the CEO or something.
Well, okay. Well, we'll discuss that later. But
Roscoe, if you don't run for mayor, I'm running for mayor. I know I shake them up when I say that. Boy, I tell you, y'all need to make me mayor. People, I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank my guests. Remember, Marie Franklin's on WMOX at 9 a.m. She's running in District 5 against Kyle Rutledge. One thing I didn't see, Roscoe, I didn't see a concerted effort from the Democratic Party in Lauderdale County. I didn't see them do anything. I don't see the Democrats doing anything.
We have given up, Eddie. This area is considered Republican. We have given up, and I agree with you. We got a gentleman that's running. I understand that Jim Hood is going to be in Meridian either today or tomorrow. Sometime he's running for governor. And I think that the black community needs to understand what he did, because if it wasn't for him, the murder of the 3 civil rights workers, although I disagree with with just one man being the murderer, but that one man would not have been convicted if it wasn't for Jim Hood.
Well, I sure hate you said that, because he sure enough lost some votes when you said that.
No.
I want to say, let me tell you, I'm going to vote for Jim Hood, but I don't like his ass.
Hold
up, let me speak.
I don't like Reeves either.
I don't either, but
You know.
But here the thing of it is that when Tarquez Hobson was here, he was talking about felony bad check, felony shoplifting, larceny under lease, carjacking. None of those things were around when they made the Mississippi Constitution. These are things that Jim Hood added to the. It was only 10 things that disenfranchised you, and Jim Hood added about 13 others. Most of those things he added affected black people. Now he want you to vote for him. I'm gonna vote for you, Jim Hood, but you wrong. And guess what, people? If you've been arrested for felony shoplifting, and they say you can't vote, go ahead on and then file a lawsuit on them, and then use the Mississippi Constitution in order to win your case.
Well, we're still under the 1862 Constitution. You know why that is, don't you? You know, huh?
Tell me why, Roscoe. You finna tell me. I already know you finna tell me.
At that time, they went in, they were Confederate. They had disbanded and everything. They went in and set up a new constitution. although, you know, you had Reconstruction coming in at that time, and we had blacks, all elected officials. You know, we got to look at the whole system, Eddie, and understand that we got to be very careful that we don't make the same mistakes that we made in the first Reconstruction period, where we wasn't educated enough or forthworth enough to get involved and know what we were doing. We had 2 black senators from the state of Mississippi.
That's right.
We never had a black governor now. Okay? We never had a black governor. But we had 2, you know, most of our political appointees were blacks in the state of Mississippi. But because of scalawags and carpetbaggers, we soon lost that.
That's right.
And consequently, man, we had to go all the way to 1965, 100 years. 100 years before the Voters' Rights Bill was amended to give us an opportunity. We already had the right to vote, but there was obstacles in our way.
And that ought to be enough to make people want to get out. Now, all those obstacles been. I mean, the walls of Jericho done came down, but you still won't go and vote.
No, and that's one of the greatest privileges that you have. I tell people all the time. I used to tell my son, he's a lawyer, and he told me once, he said, "Dad, you proud of me being a lawyer?" I said, "You a registered voter?" "No, Dad." I said, "Well, then, go on, son. Don't talk to me."
I don't even want to talk to
you. Don't talk to me. I didn't.
I want to say this to people that I was chosen for jury duty. And the reason why I was chosen for jury duty is because I am a registered voter. Now, one of the questions they ask you, have you ever been arrested for a felony? And when you say yes, they purge you from the jury. You can be dismissed. Guess what? I did them a favor. I'm going to tell you, if they ever pick me again, I did them a favor because I'm busy. I didn't have time. Because you know I'm going to sue their ass. If I can vote, but I can't sit on a jury, none of your business. It doesn't matter. Am I right or wrong? If you can vote, you can sit on the jury. When he asks me a question like that, I'm going to tell him none of his business. Yeah. And if the judge want to dismiss me because I want to answer that question, Judge, I don't think that he should ask me that question because I'm here because I'm a registered voter. So actually, I'm authorized to vote. Am I right or wrong?
If you're authorized to vote, that's the responsibility. You can sit on the jury, but they're going to get you off if you're black, if you got a felony conviction, you got a brother or cousin. Almost all of us got a brother or cousin or somebody in our family, somebody we know that's been convicted of a felony or he's in jail. That's how they get these all-white juries. All that stuff is illegal in my opinion. Well, Eddie, that's the second coming of Reconstruction, man, because they're doing the same thing. We're on plantations, but we're on different plantations.
That's
okay?
Right. And we're enslaved.
Right. We're enslaved because of prisons.
Yep.
Prison wasn't built for any other purpose than to keep us in there.
Circumvent the 13th Amendment to the Constitution.
Well, that and the fact that to make sure that they can keep tabs of where we are. Thank you, Eddie.
And they do that. Hey, folks, I want to thank y'all for listening. Dice, take us a song and take us on up out of here. And people, I want to thank you for listening in. You know, I had a lot of things I want to talk about, but we're going to get back. We got to talk about Tatiana Jefferson that was killed by a white officer in Fort Worth, Texas. You know, we got to talk about that. Aaron Dean was charged with murder, but guess what? It's only because the people, black folks, rose up. They was upset. How you going to kill somebody inside? He shot and killed her through the window. And guess what? In this city here, I have called the police myself. This was recently about just none of y'all business. But anyway, the police never came. When they came, they looked and kept on going. See, they want us to kill each other. They want us to hurt each other. And we got to get away from that. We got to get away from killing, hurting each other. And folks, I want to thank my guest again, Roscoe Jones, Ward Calhoun, the Chief Deputy for the Lauderdale County Sheriff Department. And also I want to thank Tarquez Hobson for coming through. And y'all get out to vote. Make sure y'all get out and vote November the 5th. See you guys Thursday where my guest is supposed to be. I'm going to stop telling y'all who my guest is. My guest don't show up for some reason or another. All right. Thank y'all again. Play my song, Dice, man.